Even asked yourself, what does that even mean to love myself? Isn't that selfish or self-centered or something like that? How am I supposed to love myself? Aren't I supposed to focus my love and attention on everyone else? Certainly, as women, we are socialized to put others' needs ahead of our own, to give, even to the point of exhaustion and self-sacrifice. And not just society. Biology comes along when we have children and drives us to give everything we have and then some to our children, often until we have pretty much nothing left. And guess what? This takes a huge toll on us, on our health, our energy, and often on our marriage as well. So we really do have to ask ourselves, is this really the best way to function? Are we really doing right by ourselves, our families, and our communities if we are draining our own energy tanks dry? Welcome to Reclaim Your Radiance, where we explore how you can protect, cultivate, and expand your energy so that you can flourish in life as the greatest expression of your true self. This means unraveling and healing your limiting patterns and learning how to get on your own side with love and integrity so you can really shine and offer the best of yourself to yourself and the world. If you don't know me, my name is Melanie Starr, and I'm a life coach, master EFT practitioner, Reiki master, and yoga teacher with more than 20 years of experience in the health and wellness field. I am the creator of the Holistic Divorce Healing Method and a lifelong learner in the realm of holistic health and healing. In my coaching and therapeutic work with women going through and recovering from divorce, I am saddened by how often my clients struggle to utter 3 simple words: I love myself. I can identify. For years, decades actually, my mind ran a nearly constant refrain, almost like a mantra. I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate myself. This harsh part of myself would tear me down anytime I made a mistake, anytime I said the wrong thing, anytime I failed to meet my own exacting standards, anytime I was less than perfect, which, let's face it, was pretty much all the time, right? But I didn't feel safe if I wasn't perfect. So I chased myself around with a really mean stick, beating myself up constantly. It was exhausting. Can you relate? Please post yes in the comments if you do. Hopefully you aren't as mean to yourself, but many women are. As I have learned in my therapeutic work with them, I'm sure that many men also suffer from the same nasty inner voice. Because, folks, a harsh inner critic is a hallmark sign of chronic complex trauma, also known as CPTSD, which afflicts so very many people on the planet. I will speak more about CPTSD in future episodes. It is my life's mission to help people learn how to heal from this terrible condition. So please stay tuned to Reclaim Your Radiance in the coming months. I have an amazing lineup in the works. But for today, I want to focus on that all-important pathway to healing, which is learning to love yourself. Given that it's February, I'm going to be focusing on relationships, love actually, and relationships all month, starting with that most important relationship of all, which is our relationship with ourselves. Which brings me back to the question, how am I supposed to love myself? Here's the thing. It is really difficult to go from one end of the spectrum, hating yourself, to truly feeling that you're loved, truly feeling that you love yourself. So you have to start with baby steps. In my work with women, I use a powerful healing process called emotional freedom techniques, also known as EFT tapping. This process requires the client to say, you start to tap on the karate chop point of your hand while you repeat a setup statement that starts with, even though I have this thing going on, like whatever it is, like even though I'm struggling after my divorce, or even though I'm in so much pain because of something that happened to me in my childhood, like whatever's causing the pain, even though I have this pain, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Well, I have to say, that many women that I have worked with have balked at this. Resistance to that statement comes up like a brick wall within their being, and they just can't say it. To take the edge off the resistance, I redirect them to say, I am open to the possibility that I can learn to love and accept myself. This is more realistic, right? It takes out the resistance. It's possible, okay, it's possible that I could learn. It's not like, oh, I do love and accept myself, but maybe, just maybe, I could learn, right? This is more realistic. They can get the words out, right? And so getting the words out, it opens a window in their hearts that allows self-love to enter. If they believe that learning to love themselves is important and they commit to the process. Just to provide some broader social context, it's not just women in coaching or therapy who struggle to love themselves. A 2021 survey commissioned by The Body Shop and conducted by Ipsos found half of women in this international survey feel more self-doubt than self-love, and 60% wish that they had more respect for themselves. Wow. Why do we as women have such a difficult time loving ourselves? The answers could fill a book. I will highlight just a few. Consider this. It can be hard to love yourself when you're a female because of attitudes you picked up about your worthiness in the cultural atmosphere. Some call it patriarchy. I call it societally entrenched misogyny. This comes in large part from religious teachings that women are inferior, that we're temptresses, the undoing of men. In my generation and older, good girls sat with their knees together. It wasn't proper to like sex, and if you did, you were dirty and bad, a slut. Never mind that Mother Nature designed you to love sex. Of course she did. She wants us to have babies, right? And of course, women were not even legally recognized as persons in Canada until 1929. We were chattels, property of men, literally. There's more. Of course, being valued for our appearance over our character or our skills. Impossible fake beauty standards that have only gotten more outrageous as the years go by. I can't even believe what I see these days. It's ridiculous anyway. Socialization to be nice and to put our own needs last, and not to mention the extreme economic undervaluation of women's roles looking after children and caring for their families and their homes, like creating a home, raising children, the most important thing you can do, completely economically undervalued. On top of our social conditioning, we have our personal experiences, internalizing parents scolding to mean we are not good or worthy, childhood sexual abuse that made us feel ashamed, abusive relationships that stripped us of our self-worth bit by bit, day by day. You get the idea. Pop a yes in the comments if you relate. It's an uphill climb to go from feeling fundamentally bad, unworthy, and less than to truly accepting, loving, and celebrating who we are as women. But it's a climb we need to make to become the powerful creators nature made us to be, and to generate the lives of love and abundance that we deserve. In the face of programming that produced ingrained resistance to loving ourselves, it's important to take baby steps, or the resistance will stop you altogether. That's why I developed a concept that I call the self-love ladder. This is a progressive upward path that will take you to the pinnacle of self-respect, self-appreciation, and self-love, step by step. It starts with having a basic compassion for yourself as a human being who is suffering. You would have compassion for any other suffering being, why not yourself? Why judge or berate yourself for your lack of perfection, or demand more from yourself than you would ask of anyone else? Once you connect with compassion for yourself, you have an opening to forgive yourself for your mistakes and shortcomings. When you understand that 90% of your behavior, including any self-sabotaging behaviors that may be holding you back, when you understand that 90% of this behavior is based on childhood programming below the level of your conscious awareness, so programming that was put in place before you were even 7 years old that you're completely unaware of, right? When you understand that this drives most of your behavior, it is easier to forgive yourself. So give yourself a break, okay? We can progress from self-compassion to self-forgiveness. And from there, we can work on self-understanding, self-acceptance, and self-care. Look inside to find your inner child, the innocent recipient of the programming. See her pain to be living under a burden of self-denial, self-limitation, self-sabotage, self-harm, maybe even self-destruction. Ask her what she needs from you now and give it to her. Understanding, kindness, affection. Speak to your inner child as if you are her ideal loving mother. It really is a process of reparenting yourself. Not that your parents didn't love you, but they may not have known how to show their love in a way that you could feel and accept, that really landed in your child being. And this is due to generation upon generation of really bad parenting, okay? Really a brutal society that we've been raised in when you look at the history of humanity, right? It hasn't been kind, but we are hoping to birth a new era. In a very difficult, dark time, we need all the love we can get, and it starts with ourselves. So I used to work for an amazing child psychologist, Dr. Pat McGraw. I once asked him, what is the most important thing for a parent to do? And he said, without hesitation, he said, notice the good. So how would this play out in your reparenting of yourself? What do you notice? Can you focus on the good and reward yourself with kind words and experiences? Or do you find fault and tear yourself down? Pay close attention to how you speak to yourself and about yourself. Like, are you self-deprecating? Are you always like, oh, that old thing, or oh, I look like this, or oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. How could I do that? All these things we say to ourselves, right? How could I do that? How can I be so stupid? We do this to ourselves. Or I'm so ugly. I'm so fat, all this stuff. When something kind comes up, stop yourself. But please don't berate yourself for your unkind self-talk. That is also unkind, right? It's a habit. It's a habit that you've gotten into. So, and when you recognize that how you think and speak is habitual, you can be a little like, oh, it's a habit I've gotten into. I can break a habit. It takes time and effort to change a habit, but it can be done. So what I would suggest to do is that when you find yourself speaking mean to yourself, stop and apologize to yourself. Don't berate yourself, apologize to yourself. Remind yourself you did not deserve that, and promise to be kinder to yourself in the future. It takes time to change this pattern, but it's really important to do. This is where self-awareness is so important. It's also part of the self-love ladder, is self-awareness. When you're aware of your patterns, you can change them. When you're not aware, you can't. You're at the mercy of very old patterns that aren't even your own personal patterns. They're intergenerational patterns. They're in your DNA. They're your great-great-grandmother's patterns, right? 7 generations back it goes. But once you make a habit of thinking and speaking about yourself kindly, you will find it easier to open your heart to yourself. From there, you can start taking bigger steps, such as thanking yourself when you do something nice for yourself, celebrating yourself for your achievements, even if they're just small. Give yourself credit for what you're doing and what you've been through and how far you've come. This starts to produce a virtuous cycle of positive emotions, like appreciating yourself for how hard you work or how good you are at certain things, caring enough about yourself to set boundaries that protect your time and energy from people who don't appreciate you and don't return the same kind of energy to you that you give to them. Caring enough about yourself to stop lying to yourself about the harmful choices you're making and to make better decisions for yourself, whether that's in health or finances or relationships. And then celebrating and respecting and appreciating yourself for your new, better decisions. Do you see how you will start to feel proud of yourself? How shame will then release from your being? How your heart will open to loving you? It's not narcissism, self-indulgence, selfishness, or a sense of superiority that leads you to love yourself. It is the recognition that you, like everyone else, are an individual expression of all that is, a divine being, a unique part of the universe, and deserving of the same care and love as every other part of the fabric of the universe. It is the understanding that you cannot fully express, and share the fullness of your divine gifts if you are cutting yourself off at the knees. If you are not there for yourself, you are underpowered and you don't have much energy to give. Another key to loving yourself is understanding that love is not just a feeling. It's an energy that permeates the universe. It's a frequency you can tune into and embody at a deep level. When you choose to see the world through the lens of love and let love, rather than fear, guide how you think, speak, and act, you will find that deep love for yourself naturally emerges. Once you've taken the steps to self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-understanding, self-acceptance, and self-care, new feelings begin to more rapidly emerge and build on themselves. For example, being honest with yourself, self-honesty, self-truthfulness, and self-discipline, for example, will emerge and lead to self-respect, which in turn will lead to self-appreciation, self-trust, and eventually self-love and even self-celebration, which is amazing, right? The rewards of this climb are manifold, including joy, satisfaction, rewarding and enlivening relationships, and a more expanded you with so much more to give. Please feel free to share your thoughts about this episode in the comments and share it with your friends who are also looking to learn how to love themselves and reclaim their radiance in 2024. I also invite you to check out the books page on my website, empoweryourpotential.ca. I will post the link in the comments. There you will find The Self-Love Project, a sweet anthology of inspiring stories from women, including myself, who have risen above some big challenges in life and learned to love ourselves. It's a wonderful guide, and you can get the ebook for about $1. You can also get the paperback. And don't forget, you have the power to create meaningful, positive change in your life, and you don't have to go it alone. I have your back. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.